drowning in emails, terrified of sending out the wrong nuance in your notes, terrified of Twitter? Well, Nick Bontis is back with us from the DeGroote School of Business. And Nick, what is with all these emails? We were drowning in paper, now we're drowning in emails, it seems.
You know, the marginal cost of sending an email, what does that mean in simple English? How much does it cost somebody to send an email? This is how much it costs. It's a click. A little flick of a wrist. So because it's so cheap, everybody's sending them, which means we are suffering because we're getting them all. And in fact, the average knowledge worker in a normal office job in Canada will receive 84 email messages in a 24-hour period.
Oh, it's too many.
Yes.
It's too many. So short, less is more, obviously. But what are some of the etiquette tips you'd like to share with us?
I got a few etiquette tips for us now. The first thing is you got to know when to not send email. So for example, if you have a very controversial topic, if you have something sensitive to communicate, if you have some perhaps poor news or perhaps even some exciting news, why don't you just go run to the person and actually tell them live, something that we have forgotten to do in the technology age. Second thing, subject lines. A lot of people don't use them as well as they should. Sometimes they just leave a "re" with no comment beside the subject line. Yeah. So subject lines are very, very important. And you try to be as descriptive as possible because you got to imagine when the person is reading all their emails on a list in their inbox, you know, a good descriptive subject line might pique their interest to open that email first as opposed to last. The last piece of advice is the content itself. Make sure we don't do things like all caps, because all capital,
right?
That's right, it's screaming. Make sure that we don't include very, very, very long URLs or website addresses in an email, because in many cases they get chopped off in half and they don't work. So we have to be very, very cognizant about how we use this communication tool.
Does the same apply to Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter's a little bit different.
Even fewer words.
That's correct. It's only 140 characters, and the new thing about Twitter now is that you can actually just use it through a cell phone. You don't even have to have internet access. And a lot of the younger folk, the Generation Y, are really grabbing onto Twitter right now. Some people have millions and millions of subscribers to their own account, which means all they have to do is mention one piece of news, and thousands of people hear about it.
Viral marketing at its best. Now, what about phishing? We hear a lot more about that. How should people, in a few words, protect themselves?
Sure. Phishing, which is spelled with a PH, not an F, is when somebody puts a URL in your email and gives you incentive to try to click on it, but they're doing a scam. So the most popular ones, of course, are with the banks. For example, Royal Bank has lost your password. Please click on this link and tell us your password.
Never, right?
Never, never. No self-respecting organization will ever send you an email asking you to replace their password. If you get any emails like that, automatically delete.
But thank you's nice, isn't it, in an email? Never
Absolutely.
forget to be courteous, right?
That's correct.
Thank you, Dr. Nick Bontis.